Let's talk about anime. Some shows are amazing, changing the way people look at the medium, popularizing it amongst different demographics, creating cultural phenomena, and normalizing anime as a whole. And yet, some others in the depths of darkness are not so good. The Winter 21 season has some of the best anime in years, but to properly appreciate it, I've gone back an entire year on my anime list and counted all the anime I had considered interesting enough to give a chance to in each season. Here are the results and they may surprise you. First up was Winter 2020, the season a full year ago, and that's the first one that I checked. I counted 10 shows that I found interesting, and as you will come to find, that is a pretty good amount. Spring 2020, the next season, I only counted 8 shows. Summer 2020 was by far the worst season of the year, and I counted only 6 shows, and that's if I'm stretching it a bit already. Fall 2020 was a much needed refresher, much better season than the disappointing summer, and I counted 11 interesting or good shows. And now, Winter 2021, the season that just started and the season that we'll be talking about today. I counted a whopping 15 shows. That's after removing 1 or 2 that I think may be okay, but we'll have to wait for more episodes to come out. Winter is like you're getting bombarded with good shows, like bam, 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 bam. Winter is by far the best season in recent memory, at least in terms of volume. The amount of shows that should be good in one way or another. There are so many in fact that you're probably going to struggle choosing what to watch. And here's where I come in. The point of this intro is to let you know how many shows, how many good, interesting shows there actually are this season, and how hopefully excited you should be to start watching them. For the actual shows that we'll be talking about, I'm splitting them into 2 categories, new shows and sequels, as I think that's a more comprehensive format for you to watch. Also, I will not be talking about Attack on Titan. Go watch it if you haven't, you're missing out. I don't really know when exactly I started reading manga frequently. I mean, what even counts? I own almost every single volume of the Dragon Ball manga, but I wasn't the one who bought them and I didn't really go out of my way to read them. They were just there as I was growing up, so of course I read them. I know, however, which was one of the first manga I specifically looked up and read online. And finally, after all these years, it's getting adapted into an anime. Horimiya, since that's what I'm talking about, is a slice of life romantic comedy that, if adapted properly, should be extremely easy and pleasant to watch. The plot's not too important in this one, it's really all about how the colorful cast of characters interact and play off of each other in natural and entertaining ways. I love this manga and its characters. I've reread it so many times that I've lost count, and I really hope the anime lives up to the hype. In terms of expectations, and after watching the first episode, I'm giving Horimiya the score of a banger alert out of 5. You know how every season there are 50 new isekai shows, all of them starring the same characters, featuring the same plot, all pretending to be slightly different, but at the end of the day it's all the same thing? Well, this one's kind of to blame for that. Okay, that may be going too far, but it is true that Mushoku Tensei, along with Sword Art Online, is one of the biggest inspirations for, and progenitors of, modern isekai. Now, I did not know that when I first started reading it, and so I was able to look at it from an unbiased perspective, and it's pretty good. It would be harder for me to fully recommend it if it weren't for the first episode that completely blew me away. The production value was insane, and if the studio keeps up that level of quality, it could be a strong contender for the best new anime show of the season. Also, a second season has already been announced, so you know you're getting more than just 12 episodes in the long run. Also, this anime is definitely the winner of the most coveted title, Hottest Mom of the Season award. And for that, I'm giving Mushoku Tensei 5 MILFs out of 5. I think every season needs a solid action show, and Kamen no Jihan is just that this season. I think overall the story in this one is pretty decent, and the whole idea is quite interesting, which already makes for an okay show and a fine recommendation. But what I found really cool about Kemono reading the manga is some of the powerful moments that it has. I'm not sure how many the anime will actually get to, but there are some surprisingly impactful, emotional, sometimes shocking moments that you wouldn't expect from a show like that, and in terms of the anime, to me will make or break the show. The fights and some of the powers are fun, the animation looks pretty good, I'd say give it a chance. I'll give this 4 manly men out of 5 in terms of expectations. Kumo Desuga is an isekai about a spider that keeps getting stronger. I will say give this a good old 3 episode try and see if you like it. You can also come back later as it's going to have 24 episodes, there's always going to be more for you to watch. It seems to be diverting from the manga really early on and fixing the biggest issues I had with it, which was that at some point the manga just became really boring, and so I think it has potential to be pretty decent if done well. Speaking of done well, Wonder Egg Priority really surprised me with its first episode. It's best to let you go in blind, so I will keep this short, but it's a fever dream that will not disappoint you. I really hope the quality is kept up. This could be really good. And quickly, don't watch this one unless you're a sad gamer boy wanting to be bullied, and don't watch this one ever. And now, time for sequels. ReZero is insane. In my opinion, it's one of the best isekai of all time. Partly due to how it plays with isekai tropes and subverts them, and partly due to how it masterfully builds up tension. The protagonist, Subaru, isn't a normal isekai main character. He struggles, suffers, he has to live with the consequences of his own actions. His mind deteriorates and recovers in believable ways. In the first season, he's even as annoying and insufferable as you would expect a person put in his position to be, which to me was a really defining moment in the series. I could make an entire video about only ReZero, but because it's a sequel I will say this: if you stopped watching it at some point for whatever reason, or if you just never gave it a shot or never even heard of it, do yourself a favor and catch up quickly. It's a classic in the making and you don't want to miss out. Another isekai on the list, Slime, as I'm not going to try and pronounce the full title, is an anime about a person reincarnated in another world as a slime, his adventures, and eventually about building a country. I love Slime due to how well it's able to balance competent world building, chill moments, comedy, but also some really serious and impactful moments which make the peaceful and quiet ones feel more earned and enjoyable. I don't think Slime is as much of a must-watch as ReZero, but I think it's an excellent show and you should definitely give it a shot if you haven't before, and I'm positive you will enjoy it. Also, Season 2 is probably going to feature the best moment in the series for me so far, so hopefully that entices you enough to watch it. Promised Neverland is a slice of life about nice kids living together in an orphanage, run by people who want only good things to happen to them, and they're a whole happy family. For the first few minutes of the first episode, and then it becomes this chilling thriller/horror with demons and farms that treat humans like cattle. And it's an experience that I recommend to everyone. I mentioned tension when talking about ReZero, but I would argue Promised Neverland does it even better. The sense of danger the first season exudes in every episode is just insane, and has you always on the edge of your seat. There are some genuinely scary moments, which isn't something that happens often in anime. Also, it has one of the best anime songs ever in terms of how it ties into the show and how beautiful it simply is. The second season is going to be a slightly different experience with more demons and natural dangers present, but it's sure to be great if it's adapted anywhere near as well as the first season was. The Quintessential Quintuplets, which is the English title that's admittedly still hard to pronounce, but I am not trying to pronounce the Japanese one, is a show I actually changed my mind about. In a write-up that I did before the season started, I had it pegged as a mediocre rom-com slice of life, in which the novelty of having quintuplets in the story wears off pretty quick. But after sitting on it a bit longer, I actually think the show is pretty good. It's no masterpiece, but I think it's very easy to watch and just turn your brain off, which I think is really good to have in a season with so many intense shows like Promised Neverland or ReZero. In my head, it basically went from a 6 out of 10 to a solid 7, which at that point I'm not afraid to recommend it anymore without feeling bad. Watch it if you're craving some fun, mindless entertainment. Speaking of mindless fun, Eurocamp and Nononbiori, two very similar shows, are getting new seasons. Watch these if, again, you just want to chill out and I guess watch cute girls being cute and doing cute things. These shows have a certain charm to them that's kinda hard to put into words, but I enjoy them if I'm in the mood, and you may too. Dr. Stone is also getting a new season. I personally do not like it, I am not going to lie, but it's one of the higher profiles anime this season, so it would feel weird not to at least mention it. It's about rebuilding civilization from scratch, with scientifically accurate processes and very over-the-top characters. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, give Dr. Stone a shot. Okay, who allowed this to happen? Why is Natsuno Taizai allowed to have a 4th season? Beastars is getting a new season. That's the furry anime if you didn't know. I didn't watch it, but I've heard really good things about it actually. So if anthropomorphic drama sounds like your cup of tea, then go for it. The anime about the inner workings of the body and about blood cells is getting a new season too. I also didn't watch this one, just letting you know it's continuing, and it also has some weird spin-off or something, so if you like the first season, you have plenty to watch. And that's mostly it. Everything else is mostly bland, boring isekai, another low-budget idol show, whatever the hell this is. And just straight up porn. Seriously, do not watch this. Winter 2021 season has so much to watch that it's very possible I skipped over some potentially decent shows. But I did do my best to compile the info I had and give it to you. I hope you come out of here with a bunch of shows to check out, and I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thanks for watching and see you guys next time.